studying your last two. I swim med when they turned in. The staring down to mute. And can learn the pole that sunk he died.
When most business owners create a corporation, they focus on getting the business started. They choose a company name, incorporate the business, open a bank account, and begin operations. But experienced tax advisors understand that one of the most important decisions happens much earlier. It happens when the share structure is created. This slide introduces a critical principle of corporate tax planning. A good share structure should be designed intentionally, not created by accident. At the center of the slide, we see a corporation being built like a construction project. An architect is reviewing blueprints while the structure is assembled piece by piece. This is an excellent analogy for tax planning. Just as a building must be designed before it is constructed, a corporation's ownership structure should be designed before advanced planning strategies are needed. Notice the blueprint in the center. The corporation is being built with multiple share classes, including common shares, preferred shares, and special classes of shares. These components are not random. Each one is included because it may provide flexibility and planning opportunities in the future. On the left side of the slide, we see the consequences of a poor setup. The building is unstable. The structure was created without proper planning. There is only one shareholder, no flexibility, and very few planning options. This type of structure often creates problems later. Planning opportunities become limited. Succession planning becomes more difficult. Income splitting opportunities may be restricted. Future restructuring can become expensive, and tax flexibility is reduced. In many cases, advisors discover planning opportunities years later, but are unable to implement them efficiently because the original structure was not designed to support them. Now compare that with the right side of the slide. Here we see a properly designed corporate structure. The building is strong. Ownership has been organized intentionally. Different share classes have been created, and future planning opportunities have been considered from the beginning. This structure provides flexibility. Compensation planning becomes easier. Estate planning opportunities may be available. Family planning options can be explored, and future tax strategies can often be implemented without major restructuring. The flow in the center summarizes the entire philosophy. A good structure today creates more options tomorrow, and more options tomorrow create better outcomes later. This idea is extremely important. Tax planning is often viewed as something that happens when a problem appears. But the best planning actually happens long before the problem exists. The most valuable structures are designed with future flexibility in mind. At the bottom of the slide, we see the foundation blocks of a strong share structure: share classes, ownership, voting rights, growth participation, and future planning flexibility. Together, these elements determine how adaptable the corporation will be as circumstances change over time. The final message at the bottom captures the entire lesson. Design the structure before you need the strategy. Because once the corporation is established, changing the structure can be difficult, expensive, and time-consuming. But when the structure is designed properly from the beginning, future advisors have far more tools available to help the client achieve their goals. The key takeaway from this slide is simple. Don't wait until a planning opportunity appears. Build the foundation today so the opportunities can be captured tomorrow. That is the difference between reactive planning and proactive planning. Now that we understand why a corporation's share structure should be designed intentionally, the next question is, what exactly are we designing? The answer lies in understanding share classes. This slide introduces the three major categories of shares that are commonly used in corporate planning and explains why each serves a different purpose. At the center of the slide, we see the operating company connected to three different share classes: common shares, preferred shares, and special class shares. Each type of share has unique characteristics, rights, and planning applications. Understanding those differences is essential for effective tax planning. Let's start with common shares on the left side of the slide. Common shares are typically associated with future growth. They represent participation in the increasing value of the corporation over time. In many cases, common shareholders benefit when the business grows and becomes more valuable. Common shares often carry voting rights and represent the residual ownership of the corporation. Think of common shares as the growth engine of the company. The tree shown in the illustration is a perfect visual metaphor. As the business grows, the value associated with those shares may grow as well. This is why common shares are frequently used when future appreciation is expected. Now, let's move to the center section: preferred shares. Preferred shares are different. Rather than focusing on future growth, preferred shares are often designed to provide stability and protection. They may have a fixed or determinable value. They may carry special rights, and they often receive priority treatment over common shares in certain situations. The pillar shown in the illustration reflects this stability. Preferred shares are frequently used in advanced planning strategies such as estate freezes, succession planning, and value protection arrangements. While common shares often focus on future growth, preferred shares often focus on preserving value that already exists. On the right side of the slide, we see special class shares. These shares provide flexibility. Unlike common or preferred shares, special class shares can often be customized to meet specific planning objectives. Different voting rights can be created. Dividend flexibility may be added. Special restrictions or benefits can be included. The toolbox illustration is a useful symbol here. Special class shares are planning tools. They allow advisors to design ownership structures that support future tax planning opportunities. This flexibility can become extremely valuable as the corporation evolves over time. The comparison table at the bottom highlights some of the key differences. Common shares typically participate in growth. Preferred shares often focus on fixed value and protection. Special class shares can be customized depending on the planning objective. Voting rights, dividend flexibility, and planning applications can vary significantly from one class to another. This is why simply knowing who owns shares is not enough. You must also understand what type of shares they own. Two individuals may each own shares in the same corporation, but if those shares belong to different classes, their rights, benefits, and planning opportunities may be completely different. The message on the right side summarizes the strategic purpose behind multiple share classes. They support growth and expansion, enable family and estate planning, provide protection and control, and create tax planning opportunities. In other words, different share classes exist because different planning goals exist. The most important lesson from this slide is found at the bottom. The right share class today can unlock major planning opportunities tomorrow. When a corporation is structured properly from the beginning, advisors gain flexibility. And flexibility is one of the most valuable assets in tax planning. Because the more options available in the future, the easier it becomes to adapt to changing circumstances and help clients achieve their goals. That is why understanding share classes is such a critical part of corporate tax planning. This final slide brings together the most important lesson of this section. A properly designed share structure creates future planning flexibility. Many business owners think of a share structure as a legal requirement, but experienced tax advisors view it differently. They see it as a planning platform. A well-designed structure gives advisors options. And in tax planning, options are incredibly valuable. At the top of the slide, we see a properly structured corporation supported by multiple share classes: common shares, preferred shares, and special class shares. Together, these create a flexible ownership framework that can support a wide range of future planning strategies. The key idea is simple. The corporation is not being designed only for today's needs. It is being designed to accommodate future opportunities that may not even exist yet. From this structure, 4 major planning pathways emerge. The first is compensation planning. A flexible share structure gives advisors more tools when determining how owners should be compensated. Salary strategies can be evaluated. Dividend strategies can be implemented. Hybrid approaches can be considered. And compensation can often be optimized based on the owner's objectives and circumstances. The second pathway is family planning. As businesses grow, family considerations often become increasingly important. A properly designed structure may support spouse ownership, adult children ownership, trust planning arrangements, and income splitting opportunities where permitted by tax rules. The structure provides flexibility to adapt as family circumstances evolve over time. The third pathway is growth planning. Businesses rarely stay the same forever. Expansion opportunities arise. New investors may enter the business. Holding company structures may be considered. Growth shares may become valuable. A flexible share structure makes it easier to accommodate these future developments without major restructuring. The fourth pathway focuses on estate and succession planning. Eventually, every business owner faces questions about retirement, succession, and ownership transition. Who will own the business in the future? How will shares be transferred? How can taxes be minimized during the transition? A well-designed share structure provides the foundation for addressing these questions efficiently. On the right side of the slide, we see the progression that results from proper planning. Proper structure leads to more flexibility. More flexibility creates more opportunities. More opportunities support better planning. And better planning leads to better outcomes. This sequence perfectly captures the value of thoughtful corporate design. At the bottom of the slide, we compare 2 very different situations. A poorly structured corporation often creates limitations. Planning becomes reactive instead of proactive. Restructuring may become costly. Tax costs may increase. And opportunities may be missed. In contrast, a properly structured corporation is future-ready. Planning strategies can be implemented more easily. Tax efficiency can often be improved, and advisors have greater flexibility to adapt to changing circumstances. Notice that the benefits extend far beyond tax savings. A good structure supports business growth, family objectives, succession goals, and long-term wealth planning. This is why experienced advisors place so much emphasis on getting the structure right from the beginning. The final statement at the bottom summarizes the entire lesson. A good share structure doesn't solve every problem. It creates the flexibility to solve future problems. That distinction is important. The goal is not to predict every future event. The goal is to build a structure that can adapt when those events occur. Because the future will always bring new opportunities, new challenges, and new planning needs. And the corporations that are structured properly today will be far better positioned to take advantage of those opportunities tomorrow. The key takeaway from this slide is simple. The greatest value of a well-designed share structure is flexibility. And flexibility is one of the most powerful assets in corporate tax planning.